here with my new motor. I got to go ahead and I got to get this wire harness off of here. Swap that. Swap my alternator, my AC compressor. I don't know what this is. Probably my power steering pump. Yeah. So I swap all that shit. So I gotta swap my motor mounts that are on the sides. Yeah. And just all my hoses and shit. Get all that shit swapped around. And then I'll be back with y'all. So I'm doing my wire harness. I just want to remember how this shit goes. I'll pull this up out from behind here. It's to my power steering. And my knock sensor, I believe. Alright, so now I'm going to pull this up out of here. Fuel injectors. There we go. Alright. Then it's gonna come around here. Get a couple more plugs. Clip down on that one. Alright. Then I got one sensor right under here, right there. Alright, sensor right here. Bitch. Sensor right here, you're gonna have to get a pick or something, push in on that joint, and then you're gonna have a crank sensor down here. You just gonna pull this little clip out the bottom of it. So I got my wire harness swapped around, everything hooked up, except for the components. I'm about to add them now. Grab all them real quick in this belt. Get a good look at how that belt goes. Alright, so I'm gonna just try to swap this whole shebang with a bolt here, a bolt here, a bolt here, a bolt here. That's probably it. It should all come off in one piece. I'm gonna go throw it over there on that one. Alright, so I'm back over here with my new motor. Got my motor mounts on, alternator, AC compressor, and power steering pump, all that wire harness. Throttle body, I had to switch this one piece right here over because the other motor, this motor didn't have a cooled throttle body and this one does. So I think that's the only difference in the 05 to a 06. Because this is a 05 and this is a 06 motor. So now I'm gonna let her ass on down and put her ass on up in there. Alright, we're gonna get up in here. We're gonna see how a motor feels. Vroom, 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 vroom. That's what I'm looking at when I'm sitting in here. Oh, that's where I mount at. Put a hand here. Put a hand over here. And I'll be ready to ride. Oh, what's that behind me? Fucking firewall. Hole right there. Alright, current fender. just ride this bitch. Alright, so I'm over here. About to go back in with her ass. Bitch. Alright, so now I'm going to use both my hands. Twist her around. I'm going to feed this AC line back up through here. And the fuel line, and that's it. And everything else should go fine. So, I'll be back with y'all in a second. I'm just going to set it on these two mounts. Alright, so the bitch just went down. And up in here, super smooth. So it's lined up to that mount. It's almost lined to that mount. So I'm just going to have to let it down a little bit. Catch this one real quick. Alright, so I caught that one. Right there. Come over here. Come back a little bit. Make sure this one's still in. It's still in. Fucking camera wanna fog up. Alright. Alright, so she's sitting on her ass. There it goes. Her ass is in there. Just like that. Shitty ass camera. Alright. So now I'll just get my two nuts in. One right there, one over there. Then I'll tip forward, get my heater core hoses in, and start hooking her ass up. Really, I just put my motor mount bolts in. I go down here and get my transmission in. Alright, so I'm over here. I'm just running my wires back here. I got a board holding this shit. Go ahead and stick my two heater core hoses on there. I go right here. You can see the bottom one. Can't really see this top one. Alright. Top one right there. Also, when I ran this wire, this just sits back in here. These wires come on up here, and they gonna hook up into that computer. Got one little wire that's gonna plug up right here. Plug that up. I'll plug it up and sync it, and oxygen sensors and transmission wires, you can run them down there. So they'll be where you're gonna be hooking up to your transmission down there somewhere. Alright, so I'm gonna get them heater core hoses on, and get my ground wire on right here too. Ground wire is just gonna go where this ground wire is. Alright, so I got my heater core hose on. I got all my wires ran right here. 3 wires in the computer, a big wire right here. Got a little wire there. All the wires in here with these 7mm bolts tightened down. Cap back on there. So now I believe I can pull my board out and move to the bottom. Alright, so I just bolted up my throttle body. I ain't went back up underneath yet, and I'm ready to put my transmission in yet. So another wire back here. So I'm just gonna go around. I'm gonna hook a couple things up. I'll hook my heater core hoses up over here on the other side. I could probably hook my AC lines up right now. I could hook my fuel line up. So I'll probably go ahead and do that. Alright, so I'm back over here on this Mustang. Just hooked up my ground wire here. And my other ground wire. Push all my wires to the side. Push this to the side, anywhere. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get my transmission up under here. Try to connect her ass back up. So here it is over here on the box. Just gonna move this shit. You know, always make sure you ain't got no extra pins up in here, which I don't. It's two are on the motor. One here and one here on the motor. Make sure your torque converter is about where it needs to be. So you can line them holes up, and I'm about to go in with her ass. So I got her about where I want her at. Got my pins pulled. Really, I can move this thing any way I want because it's a 4-way roller box. So, as long as I'm squeezed up in there. Sorry, I don't want them catching on nothing. Got my torque converter about where I need to be with the bolt right over there. So, these old Mustangs, the more I do of them, it's getting easier. Ford's is not a bad car to work on, except the F-150s, man. Don't want to mess with them things anymore. I'm sick of them. But I done thrown a couple motors in. Alright. So I'm probably about where I need to be now. A little bit more, maybe. Oh, man. Just a little bit more, you can see. Come on, a little bit more. Pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, so I'm gonna have to go up a bump now. Alright, so I'm gonna have to work with both hands. More than likely. Try working with one hand, it ain't. But you see how close I am right there. You just slide her ass together real quick. Alright, so I ran into another issue with flywheel. It's different. That's gonna be another difference in the years. It's fucking crazy. I was up under here fighting for a minute, and you can just see how off it is. One hole lined up. Fucking piece of crap. So, how I feel about that shit. I'm going to throw this other one on now. Get my transmission in there. Yeah. So with the other flywheel in there, it went in fairly smooth. Got a bolt in there. Got the torque converter lined up. Got a bolt in the bottom, and I got a bolt in the other side. Oh man. That flywheel pissed me off, man. That's I guess another difference between 05 and 06. Just a little different. So now I got my transmission in here. Just gonna hook some of my wires up. Then I'll jack her ass up right here and put my mount up with my exhaust at the same time. Go ahead and get my top transmission bolts in and my damn wires hooked up top up here. Alright, so I got all my transmission bolts in, got them all tight, got my wires hooked up here, 3 wires up there, got this one plugged in right here, and this one's just sitting in here. I ain't tightened this one 10mm up yet. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna jack up, man. I'm gonna try to get this damn bracket in here with the exhaust on it. So let's jack it up to where it needs to be. It's probably about good up in there somewhere. Alright. Alright, so I'm gonna have to use both hands and try to get my damn bracket up here. So I'll be back. Once I'm back, I'll probably have my exhaust and my bracket up here. Alright, so I got all my bolts in here. Got them all tightened up. Got one side of my exhaust in there, and the other one I got to work with, and try to get it up in there. If I don't, my idea is just gonna cut it right here. Just do away with that hanger right there, because it's got quite a few other hangers on this system. So, after that though, I'm gonna go ahead and put my drive shaft back up here, over there. What am I gonna do? Hook my oxygen sensors up, put my damn 4 exhaust bolts in, 2 right there, and maybe 2 up there. Just need a little extension to do that. I'll come over here and I'll get my torque converter nuts on and put my starter back, 2 wires on that, and my 2 transmission lines right here, and tighten up that 10 millimeter little wire up here. Tighten that up too. So I'm about to do all that, and also gonna slide these old things down here and get them 2 bolts in there. That'll be after I get them 4 up there started. I can get these tightened. Alright, so I just got my exhaust up. Got my exhaust bolts in back here. Got my exhaust bolts in up there. Now I'm going ahead and I'm going to hook up my transmission lines, which I already got the first one started up here. So I'm going to screw that one in, tighten that one up, and then I'll start this other one right here. And I'm going to go ahead and plug up my oxygen sensors. This is going to go up in here, plug up these 2. Go ahead and tighten my plug up here and hook up my linkage and put my drive shaft. So I got my drive shaft up here, all my bolts in it. I got my linkage back up here, clipped on right there, pushed it on there, clipped it on right here. Got my wires hooked up, make sure they're out of the way of the linkage. Alright, got my oxygen sensor hooked up. Got the one hooked up top there, the one hooked up top over here. So now I got a zip tie, just put that thing back with a zip tie. Now I'm putting my torque converter bolts in. When you're spinning this motor over, do not rotate this engine in reverse. Now, that's the first one I've had like this, but I'm thinking there's a few like that. So, because it'll avoid the warranty. So, since I'm already at this nut, I'm going to go ahead and put this one on. Just snug it up a little bit. I ain't going to tighten it up. Spin it around right here, clockwise. Get the next 3, get all 4 of them up in there. Put my starter back up there. Put my bottom radiator hose on. Let's see, did I get got my power steering line on? So yeah, getting down, about to be up top again. Alright, so I got my torque converter bolts in now. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my starter up in there, which is somewhere. There it is. 2 bolts, it goes in there real easy. And I can probably show y'all. That's my 2 nuts for it right there. Alright. Try not to drop the bolts, but there they go. They're gonna drop any fucking way. Just sits right in there, man. Like that. Alright, so I got everything done up under here, man. All my wires hooked up. My drive shaft, exhaust. Starter's back in with my starter wires on. Got my torque converter bolts in, my transmission bolts in. So now I'm about to move up top. I slipped my bottom radiator line on too, but I'm gonna get it while I'm up top. I'm gonna go ahead and go up top and do everything up there. See, I got my fuel line. I got quite a few things up there. Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna do up here is I'm gonna get these these AC lines back on here. Alright, so I got my AC lines on, got my fuel line on there, got this other line, vacuum line that's gonna go right there. Alright, got my line on my damn thing right there. Alright, looks like I got another line right here that's cut, so I had to go get it off the other motor. Bitch. Come on, bitch. Pluck that off and go grab the other vacuum line, which I think goes to the cool air intake. Alright, so I got my vacuum line from the other motor, which you see it just goes into the air cooler. So I ain't gonna do that yet. I got my heater core lines, I just put them on and did that. So all this shit's plugged up. It looks like I can go ahead and put my bottom radiator hose clamp on. Then I'll go ahead and grab my fan, get my fan over here, put my fan on, because I think this is gonna bolt to my fan. So I'm gonna put my clamp on, put my fan in here. Alright, so I also got one plug on my AC line right here. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that up in there. Must be complicated. Alright, so everything else, my belt and all that shit's on. I'm gonna go over here, grab my fan. This thing's really simple. Just throw it up here. You bitch. One hand ain't that easy, but it's got these little slots. It just pops right in. And then you just put your two bolts in here. Bam. And bam. And that's it. Alright, so I got my radiator fan in. Now I got one wire to hook up to right here. Alright, then I got this power steering reservoir that I got zip tied. Bitch, got my zip tie. Strong ass zip tie. Them bitches won't break any other day. Alright, I'm gonna put my power steering line on right here. Put this power steering pump up. I'm trying to get me a head camera, man. And I could really show y'all how the fuck I do everything. I got kids and I don't make enough right now. Alright, so I'll put my one bolt up in there. Then I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. And this is gonna hook to the bottom of my reservoir. Right here. So I hook that line up to the bottom of my reservoir. Put it right here, hook up my other line to it right here. Then I'll put my top radiator hose on, which I just got laying over here on the bench. And then I'm gonna get my air box on and my battery in. It's almost done here. Alright, so I got these bolts in here, lines on there, everything's tight. Got my line on right here, just slip this on. Gotta tighten that up. Now I left this off, I'm gonna fill this thing right here. And I'm gonna fill it right here. To make sure I ain't got to bleed the system as much. So I should have a mass airflow sensor wire right here. Get it up and make it come around here the best way it can. Alright. Then I'm gonna have a bolt right here. And I'm gonna have a bolt over here somewhere to bolt this thing up, tighten up my 8 there. Then I'm gonna change my oil. I got a little cover here I think that goes on. It's just gonna sit up here with a few clips in it. So it looks like I might wait till I put my antifreeze in so I get my radiator hose back on there. But I'll put that on and I'm gonna go ahead and change the oil. Then I'll start her ass up. Alright, so I got my top radiator hose on and got the clamp on it. I'm gonna do this thing on it. Do my antifreeze on, do my alternator wire on, almost forgot there. I'm gonna throw my battery in here, throw some oil in here, some power steering fluid, and then I'm gonna start her ass on up. Alright, I got all my fluids filled up and I also had to put this on right here. Still gotta put my hood on, but I'm gonna go ahead and start her ass up real quick. Let's see what it should do. Oh man. Got a weak connection. Alright. Back in here, try to start this thing. Got the battery charged up, but it's still in there fucking good. There she goes, right there. She don't sound bad at all. That's all I wanted to hear. She got a little bit of exhaust leak, but she sounds fucking great. Hell of exhaust leak, right? Try to tighten up the exhaust.